Hi, my name is Desiree, but you can call me Des, and today I want to discuss a movie. I don't expect this to be my usual content, but I recently watched the movie The Descent, and it pissed me off so bad that I want to talk about it. The movie Descent is a horror movie that starts off with our main character. I believe her name is Sarah. To be honest with you, I'm not very good at names. And the only names that I really remember, for sure, is Juno, because honestly, this video was about Juno. Obviously, I have to explain to you the plot of the movie before I can explain to you why we need to jump Juno. So, our main character's name is Sarah, and the movie starts with Sarah and a couple of her friends and her husband and her daughter, right? So Sarah is with a couple of her friends on a raft. I think she's whitewater rafting. She's a nature girly. She's an adventurous type of person. And she's having fun in the water with her friends. And one of those friends is Juno. And they're having fun or whatever. One of them playfully pushes the other one into the water. They're all laughing, hee. It's all fun. It's all games, okay? Husband and the daughter, they're on the shore. Sarah and Juno and friend number 3 is on this raft, okay? And they get off the raft and everything's fine. And Sarah hugs her friends and is bye guys, thanks for hanging out or whatever. And then Sarah, her husband, and her daughter get into the car and they're on their way home. Sarah and her husband are, obviously they're in the front seat, they're talking. Husband is driving, everything's fine. I honestly don't remember what they were talking about. Because next thing you know, boom, car crash, okay? Sarah survives, but she's the only one in the car that survives. Okay, Sarah's husband and Sarah's daughter, they did. Obviously, Sarah is traumatized and devastated, heartbroken, all the things, because she lost her own family, basically. And Sarah, basically, she calls all of her friends and she calls Juno, hey, can you plan a cave climbing, cave hiking day? Because remember, she's an outside girly, okay? She's an adventurous girly. That's fun to her. I can't relate. This would never be me, but to each their own, okay? Sarah, Juno, and a bunch of other women all meet up at this cabin or whatever. The plan is everyone meet up at this cabin, have a cozy little time in the cabin, go to sleep, wake up, and the next day we're all going on a cave adventure together, right? So I forgot the name of the cave that they said that they were going to, but they all previously agreed to be going to this one specific cave. And Sarah specifically requested, because Juno, I guess Juno is the one that be in the caves, I don't know. So I guess Juno is the most experienced caver out of all of them. And Sarah specifically asked Juno to pick a cave that's level 1 or 2. It's supposed to be an easy cave, not too difficult to do, because they're there for fun, and not everyone is super experienced. That's important. Juno picked the cave. Everyone was on the same page. We're going to this cave. Sarah even bought a book about the cave, okay? They have a good time at the cabin. The next day, everyone's packing up all their gear. They're all ready. They got their backpacks. They got their ropes and stuff. I don't know. I don't know anything about this, but they seem prepared, okay? They seem like they have all their stuff. They're being responsible. They're being smart, okay? And so they set off and they drive and they're following Juno because Juno picked the cave. Juno knows where the cave is. We're gonna follow Juno. So they drive, and then they're walking through the woods and they're looking for the entrance of the cave. This is another important detail. Prior to them leaving to go into the cave, they, I don't know if this is a real thing, but I assume it is. They called this hotline and they said, hey, we have, this number of people, we're going to this cave, and, we're just letting you know, because if we don't call and check in by this time, like, please send a search party for us. While I was watching the movie, honestly, this was a little bit surprising for me, because I'm used to people being stupid in horror movies, but like these girls seem pretty smart. Like they're taking all the precautions. They're doing all the things. I'm like, wow. So they bought all the gear. Like Sarah read the book about the cave. Like they've even called this hotline. And I was like, oh, so okay. This is different. This is different. So they find the cave entrance. They go into the cave or whatever, and everything's great. It's beautiful. They're filming. They're taking pictures. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Everything seems to be fine. Okay? They sit down. They eat lunch. And their lunch is like an apple. But whatever. After they eat their lunch, they get their things. And they're like, all right, time to go to the next part of the cave. And so they're like, all right, everyone look around and look for like the opening for the next part of the cave. And so someone finds something. They're like, hey, there's like a little hole in the wall. And the person is like, oh, I think this is the way. Like, I think we need to go this way. After that one person, shimmied through the tiny hole in the wall, and confirm that was the way they should be going. All right, now it's time for everyone to go one by one and shimmy through this tiny hole. And when I say it's a tiny hole, I mean like the one girl had to like take off her backpack and like put it in front of her and like push the backpack through, and she's like shimmying, you know what I mean, through this cave. So eventually, everyone shimmies through the little hole. Okay, the last person is Sarah. It's Sarah's turn, okay? Everyone else is waiting on the other side, like, come on, Sarah. And so Sarah takes off her backpack and she's shimmying in the little hole, right? And halfway through, Sarah like has like a panic attack. She starts freaking out. She like stops crawling. She's like hyperventilating, and she's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then Juno climbs back like into the little, so they're like this, you know what I mean? So Juno climbs through the other way, and like she like is talking to Sarah, and she's like, Sarah, look at me, like you're gonna be okay, you can do this, everything's fine, like stay here with me, like we're okay, you're okay. And while Juno is, giving her like this pep talk, you know what I mean? Trying to calm her down and be like, no, girl, you're a strong, independent woman. You can do this. Some rumblings. You can hear some rumblings start to happen in the cave. So Juno scooched her way out and is like, come on, Sarah, let's go. And Sarah, there was some supplies that was like behind Sarah. And Juno was like, leave that. Because remember, there's rumblings in the cave. So Sarah, as fast as she can, shimmies through the little hole, and as soon as she gets out that hole, and actually I believe at this point Juno was like pulling her out. As soon as she gets out, the hole collapsed. The hole that Sarah was just in collapsed. It's blocked off, and now the entire group is trapped. Technically, but like it's okay though, you know what I mean? So at first they're like, this is scary, but then they're like, no, like it's okay, we're not trapped. This is a very well-known cave, and this cave has multiple exits, right? So like everyone calm down, everyone relax, we're fine, like we're not trapped in here, everything's gonna be okay. But then Sarah starts looking around, and she says, I don't remember this on the map. Juno, where's the book, right? Because remember, there was a book about this cave that they all agreed to go to. And Juno was like,
oh, I left the book in the car. I didn't think we need it.
And Sarah's like, Okay, well, maybe I'm tripping, but I'm a little bit confused. Like, where do we go from here? This is when Juno um informs everyone that they are in fact not in the cave that they all agreed to go to. This is when they find out that Juno has taken them to a new cave. A cave that's so new that it doesn't have a name. In fact, not only does it not have a name, there's no information about this cave anywhere. It's an undiscovered cave. There's no documentation. Juno tells them,
well, I just thought it would be great if we just like explored this cave together and then like we could name it together.
And that is the part of the movie where I audibly gasped. Like, when I tell you, I literally went after Juno said that. So now, this group of women are in a cave that, as far as they know, no one has ever been to before. Juno just found it while she was hiking and thought it would be nice to take everyone there. That's why Juno left the book in the car, because she knew that that book would not be helpful because they're not going to that cave. And now the way that they came in is blocked off. And because this cave is unexplored, they have no idea if there is an exit to this cave. Additionally, because they're in a brand new cave with no name, that hotline, remember the hotline that they called? That hotline thinks that they're at the cave with the name. Not a soul knows where they are. Mind you, some of their supplies is gone. Sarah had to leave some of her supplies in the little hole so that she wouldn't get crushed to death. This was the moment that I realized that I hate Juno vehemently. And what's crazy is none of them put their hands on her. None of them hit her, punch her. After discovering this knowledge, none of them turned violent. Because if I was there and I'm now trapped in a cave where we have no idea if there's a way out and no one knows where we are and we have no way to call for help because we're underground and our phones don't work, all because one person, this person who is supposed to be a close friend of mine, lied to us and tricked us into going into a cave that has never been explored. I would have to put my hands on her. I would have no choice but to put my hands on her. And although I would beat her ass over this, I would make sure not to kill her because, remember, Juno is the most experienced caver, which means they need her. So, after discovering this knowledge, they're obviously upset, but Juno says, listen, I know I'm sorry, I know, but like, we don't have time to like fight, like we need to find a way out. Like we have to just keep going. So they keep going. I don't even think we're halfway through the movie at this point. It gets worse. They continue to explore the cave. And while they're exploring the cave, they get to a kind of an opening in the cave, and they discover that they are not alone. There is humanoid, but not human, creatures in the cave that appear to eat people. And mind you, I said people. not just animals, because they discover human skeletons, and such creatures attack them. They're fighting the creatures off, right? The creatures appear to be blind and like only go off of sound and smell, maybe? I don't know, but they can't see. Okay, so they're fighting, and Juno is attacked by these creatures. And Juno, I'm not even gonna lie, she whooping them. She beating them up. Okay, she has this little, I think like a climbing axe. Listen, she has a sharp tool, okay? I don't know the name of it, okay? But she has it and she's swinging around. She pow, pow, pow. She's fighting for her life, okay? And she kills the creatures. But one of the girls runs up behind Juno, like right, so Juno, ha-cha, kills the creature. And then someone runs up behind her and grabs her. So naturally, she thinks it's another creature. She turns around, pa! And Juno stabs their friend Beth right in the neck. And Beth obviously collapses. Okay? And Juno is horrified, obviously. And see, now I hate Juno. I do not like this woman. But here is the part of the video in which I am going to defend Juno. Because I try my best to be a fair human being, okay? Juno stabbing Beth was an accident. And I get it, okay? Juno is fighting off these monsters by herself. She doesn't know where the other girls are, okay? Because, like, the second monsters appeared, everyone kind of scattered, you know what I mean? So Juno doesn't know where the other girls are. She's fighting off multiple creatures, okay? She just killed one. And Beth runs up behind her and just grabs her by the shoulder. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't yell. She doesn't call. Like, she literally, silently runs up behind Juno and grabs her by the shoulder. So, but at the same time, I don't want to victim blame, you know what I mean? Because, like, I understand Beth is scared, she's stressed, she's panicked, she sees one of her friends and she, like, just wants to get to her friend. But, like, what's done is done. Beth is on the ground, bleeding out, and Juno is literally, like, crying, apologizing to Beth, and Beth is, like, grabbing at Juno, like, please don't leave me. And Beth grabs a necklace that Juno is wearing. I did not mention this necklace prior to right now because it wasn't relevant to prior to right now, but we'll circle back to the necklace, okay, in just a minute. And Beth is like, please don't leave me, Juno, please don't leave me. And Juno, after she apologizes, she leaves Beth. She leaves her. And again, I don't want to say she's wrong for leaving Beth because you don't know if you're in a safe space, okay? Like, you're still in the cave with these creatures. We don't really have, like, the luxury to, like, for me to, like, sit and, like, hold you while you die. Like, I don't have that luxury. I need to go find the other girls and get the heck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I understand why Beth is like, I don't want to be alone. Like, I don't want to die alone. Like, and also, you just stabbed me, albeit it was by accident. But you just stabbed me, so, like, and I don't want to die alone, so please just, like, sit here with me in my last moments. So, Juno runs off to try to find the other girls. Blah, 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 blah. A bunch of stuff happens. I'm not here to tell you the plot of the movie. I'm just going to tell you just enough of the plot so you understand why we need to jump Juno, okay? So I hope while I'm telling you this story, I hope you guys are, like, gathering your pitchforks and your torches because we ride at dawn, okay? Sarah ends up by herself, like, in the monster's, like, lair, I guess, and she sees Beth. And Beth is not dead, okay? Beth is hanging on by the skin of her teeth. She's just hanging on to life, right? And Sarah sees Beth and she's like, oh my gosh, Beth, like, are you okay? And Beth is like, no, like, Juno did this to me. Like, Juno stabbed me. And Sarah's like, what? And Beth is like, Juno stabbed me? And then hands her Juno's necklace. And then she dies. Again, I understand why Beth would be upset and why Beth said, like, Juno did this. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but Juno stabbing Beth was an accident. It was a very unfortunate situation, but I don't think anyone is at fault here. I don't think anyone's in the wrong in that specific instance. Well, actually, you could say that Juno is at fault because Juno is the reason why they're in the cave in the first place and why they're trapped there in the first place. And if Juno was just a better person, then they wouldn't have been in the cave with the monsters. So I guess in that regard, it is Juno's fault. But I also feel like Beth just saying, like, Juno stabbed me was, like, kind of a misrepresentation of, like, what happened, okay? But anyway, Beth hands Sarah the necklace that she took from Juno, and Sarah, like, looks at the necklace. On the necklace, there's an engraving. Now, I don't remember the exact quote, but there's a quote engraved in the necklace. And it's a quote that Sarah's husband used to say frequently. Now, at the beginning of the movie, there was a detail that I did not tell you because I wanted you to be surprised. At the beginning of the movie, before Sarah's husband dies in the car accident, before that happened, when Sarah and her friends were, on the shore and they were saying goodbye to one another, there was a moment where Juno and Sarah's husband were alone. And they were kind of looking at each other in the eyes in a way that was suspicious. So now here we are. A bunch of girls are dead at this point. And Beth just told Sarah that Juno stabbed her. And Sarah is staring at this engraving of this necklace. And she's putting 2 and 2 together.
If 2 plus 2 is 4, right? And 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay. What the fuck is this?
Okay. Sarah is now realizing that Juno is an op and has been an op this entire time. Since before her husband and her daughter's death, Juno has been fucking Sarah's husband behind her back this whole time. And even after her husband dies, Juno is smiling in her face, calling her up, acting like a good friend, checking up on her. Are you okay? Blah, 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 blah. Let's put ourselves in Sarah's shoes. Your husband died. Your daughter died. You're devastated. One of your close friends plans a girls trip for you, per your request, and tricks you into going into a cave that is unexplored and unstable. And now you're trapped in the cave, only to discover that the cave has human-eating monsters in it. A bunch of your friends are now dead because of said human-eating monsters in the cave. And you find out from one of your friends who's dying that the same friend that tricked you guys into coming into this cave killed her, essentially. And you discover a necklace that basically proves that this same friend has also been having an affair with your husband prior to his death. So obviously Sarah's pissed. In fact, she's beyond pissed at this point. She is furious. And honestly, she looks terrifying because at this point she's had to like literally swim in like a lake of blood. So at this point she is covered in blood. So Sarah eventually finds Juno and they work together to kind of find an exit. And they get to the exit, and before they can like climb out, you hear the sounds of the monsters again. And remember, they can't see. And Sarah turns around and gets like the pickaxe sharp thing that she had and stabs Juno in the leg. And obviously, Juno starts screaming her head off, which draws the attention of the monsters. And while they're eating Juno alive, Sarah crawls out of the ground and survives. I do want to say that there's apparently 2 endings to this movie, and that was the ending that I saw. But honestly, in both endings, that's how Juno dies. And Juno's death is not satisfying enough. It's really not. It's really not. So I know Juno is dead, but grab your pitchforks because it's not over. Okay? It's not over till I say it's over. Sarah should have just done more than stab Juno in the leg. I think that Sarah should have waited for them both to climb out of the ground and for Juno to have like the sense of like relief and safety, and then she should have strangled her to death. And then shoved her body right back in that cave, and the monsters would eat the evidence. That's what I think should have happened. Okay? I think that's what Juno deserved, because that's what Juno basically did to Sarah. You're over here, you're my best friend, and you're fucking my husband? I'm over here thinking I'm safe and secure in my marriage and that I'm safe and secure in this friendship. Whole time, you and my husband are stabbing me in the back every chance that you get. Because Juno's death wasn't satisfying enough, I walked away from the movie angry. Like, I wasn't happy that Sarah survived. Like, that's not enough. Like Sarah surviving is like great and all. In this specific ending, Sarah surviving is great and all, but it wasn't enough. Okay, the credits were rolling and I'm still sitting there seething at what Juno did. You know, maybe this video makes me appear more violent than what I actually am. Like, I'm not actually a violent person, like in real life, but this is fictional world. So now that I have really let my rant out, I do feel a little bit better. And as far as I'm concerned, in my head canon, Sarah strangled Juno, and that's how the movie ends. Anywho, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm at Des Dovalina on Instagram and TikTok. And please, please, please go into the helpful links in the description below. It is a bunch of different links to help a variety of different issues happening in the world right now that could use your help. Rather, you can donate, educate, or volunteer. Please check them out. And I will see you guys in the next video.